People often wonder, did the Fed tighten enough? The move in that line tells you it has, and history tells us it has. In the early 60s, two historical examples I'll give you. The early 60s, the inflation rate was benign, sort of like we've seen in our lifetimes in the last decade. Picked up, Fed raised the policy rate to 6, decided to cut rates. Like you said, on your birthday, they cut rates. But they cut rates too much and too soon. Eventually, by the late 60s, the Fed had to go back to the drawing board, push its policy rate to 9, and when the inflation rate was 6. The key there is the difference, the 3 points. So it took 3 points to solve that inflation problem, a 3-point real rate. In the late 70s, of course, inflation ran away. Paul Volcker stepped in and was very aggressive with a problem that he said was had affected an entire generation of individuals since the mid-60s. So really deeply embedded and entrenched. So where did he put the real interest rate? 5%. 5% for 4 years to handle a nasty inflation problem. So we've got 3 and a 5. The Fed, when the policy rate peaked last summer, the policy rate was 5.5. So was inflation, so it was 0. But today, 2.6 for the PC, 3 again. So that alone, the history suggests the Fed did enough and can start moving down the mountain, bringing the policy rate down. It's what gave it room. Plus that labor chart you showed indicates there must be tightness. In fact, there were job openings, final words, of 12 million people at one point. That tightening erased it. Now it's near 7. It's almost the same level of the numbers of people unemployed, and if it keeps moving, we're going to have a worsening inflation employment problem, higher unemployment, because it can feed on itself. Final word is we can reach a stall speed. If the economy slows too much, suddenly tips and you get a recession. So they've got to think about that real interest rate and decide, is it enough? It looks like it is based on declining amount of job openings and a rising jobless rate and slower gains in payrolls. Got to get moving because it takes a long time to have impact.